Hey guys, I'm Elegant and welcome to another Pokevlog. So before I get into what I'm going to talk about this week, I want to just do a quick elaboration on what I said last week. Because last week I mentioned bringing back contests in the Ruby Sapphire remake, and well, I still think you should do that. But someone did comment below on that last episode about being like a choice at the start of the game where you can choose whether you want to participate in Pokemon contests or Pokemon gym battles. And I think that's a much better idea than one game being focused on contest battles and the other game on gym battles. So thanks for that idea. And a few people getting confused about what I said as well. I was meaning that when you chose what you're going to do, the gym battles or the contest, you're still able to do the other one. You're not going to get completely rid of the other one. You can still do the other one. It's just not the necessary part of the storyline, if you get what I'm trying to say. And one thing I did forget to talk about last week was one of my favourite things about the original Ruby Sapphire Emerald games. So I kind of can't believe I forgot that. But the secret bases, I'd love to see the secret bases again. And I know I've sent a few people to mention in the secret bases. I think if they made them a little bit more advanced, and I think that would be a really good thing for the new games, because I know they did make secret bases again in the 4th generation, but what they did there was the underground, and I didn't really like the secret bases in the 4th generation, so I think secret bases for the Ruby Sapphire remake would be brilliant. As well as a little feature I've always wanted. I always think that you should be able to fly to your secret base. So depending on where your secret base is placed or located, you have a little bit of a different fly option. So you know where it is for one, as well as you can fly to areas. So I think that's a nice little idea. So this episode, probably not going to be as long as my usual episodes, but please do comment on what you want me to talk about in future, but that's not going to be the question of the week, so I want to mention it now. I want to comment down below of what you think I should talk about in future. If you've got any Pokemon questions, Pokemon history, Pokemon theories, I don't know. If you've got any questions you want me to talk, or anything you want me to talk about in these episodes, please comment, because I was a little bit of lost for ideas. I had a couple of ideas which I could go over, but there's not too many ideas, neither of them. So this episode I'm actually going to go and talk about future Pokemon games, specifically the 6th generation. So there's been quite a bit of fan art when I looked up stuff before. There's quite a bit of a few ideas. One of them being the Outperm region. I can't pronounce it, but OUTPHERM region. And there's another one that I think they're actually there's a website, and I think they're creating some sort of 6th generation Pokemon hack, or some substitute, not an official Pokemon game. I'm not quite sure, because on the main page they said they're hiring and different sorts of game animators and music people, and so I wasn't sure if this was actually a legitimate sort of a hack, or not necessarily a hack, because I don't think they're hacking it. I think they're making a new Pokemon game, but not an unofficial Pokemon game, to try and get what I'm trying to say. So that one's called Pokemon Gypsium, so it's quite interesting what people have come up with. I will put links to them in the description below if you want to go and check them out. And personally, I don't really like the Outperm region, what people have come up with. I think it originated from somebody on DeviantArt, I think. And I think all that they did was made a few Pokemon sprites. Well, not just a few, they made the whole of the Pokemon sprites. And, sorry. And I don't really like the Pokemon sprites. I think they're starting to look too Digimon-y. I think they are getting to be too many Pokemon at the moment. So let's move on to my ideas for the 6th generation. Yeah, as I said before, I think there's getting to be too many new Pokemon and too many new forms now, because these Black and White 2 games brought in so many new forms. I think you'll see in the sidebars somewhere, but I read about on Cerebi there being now, with all the new forms of different Pokemon, there's over 720 something Pokemon because of the new forms, so it's crazy. There's too many forms, I think. Too many forms, so even if they don't want to make as many new Pokemon in the 6th generation, I would still say I don't really want them to make new forms as well, because it's just getting too much. It's getting too much into it's turning too much into a different game rather than staying as Pokemon. So forms, I think they should definitely cut down on in the next generation. As well as evolutions, maybe you should cut down on that a little bit. But I think there are some Pokemon, for example Mawile, that I've hardly got any credit, that really probably should get an evolution or something, because there's a lot of older Pokemon that don't have evolutions and have good potential to be a good Pokemon. They just, you know, they don't have the best of stats or move sets or things like that. For things like Absol, I would say no evolutions for, and Tauros, don't make any new evolutions because they're good on their own for one. And I think Pokemon still does need to keep Pokemon that don't have evolutions, you know, so maybe make a couple of evolutions for Pokemon like Mawile. That's my sort of ideas that I think they should do for the 6th generation if they do bring in new Pokemon. And maybe a couple new Pokemon with different typing, and that would be interesting. Definitely not over 100 new Pokemon. I definitely don't think they should do that, because if they're going to continue making Pokemon games, they'll want to make ones after that, and they'll want to make 150 Pokemon then. I think it's just going to get too much. So probably 20, 30, 50 maximum new Pokemon would be what I'd recommend for Pokemon to do. I don't think they should spend like too much time on doing all the Pokemon when there's like quite a gameplay things and things they should be more concentrating on. I'm sorry if you can hear the rain is like chipping it down outside. And also, I want to apologise for my voice today. I am a bit ill and I'm feeling a little bit lousy, but I'm trying my best to cover it up, and hopefully it doesn't come across to you. Not the illness, of course, because you're on camera, but I'm on camera. But you're sort of on the internet and looking through my camera at me, so you can't get it. But I'm just sorry if you can tell I'm ill, if you get what I'm trying to say. But yeah. The other thing that I was going to mention about the 6th generation is the distance from Kanto, because in every single like new region, the distance from the previous regions has been greatened. So, for example, in the Kanto region, the next region was the Johto region, so they were right next to each other. They were literally neighbours. So one side was Kanto, one side was Johto, or the other way around, yeah. But then came the Hoenn region, which was a little bit further away, and then the Sinnoh region was a lot further away, and then the Unova region was like the other side of the planet, kind of. Not exactly the other side of the planet. We don't know about the locations of everything on the planet, which I think they should reveal in the 6th generation. I think they should definitely reveal the layout of all the different regions and stuff in the 6th generation, because I think we've got quite a few enough generations and regions to get something good. And yeah, so I think I don't think they should stick to the same rule. I think they should have a region that's closer home to Kanto. I think they should have something in between, because Unova is just getting too farther and farther away. Maybe something close to Unova would be a good idea, but I think they haven't ruined it for themselves, because I know in the Pokemon anime, the reason Ash moves to another region is because he wants to get all these different badges, and the regions are always fairly close to where he previously was, so he moves on to the next closest island. But for the Unova region, Ash actually goes on holiday and then it goes on an adventure there. So it would make sense for there to be a region in between, because there isn't a reason there wouldn't be one, because Ash wouldn't have gone to it anyway, because he went to the Unova region to go on holiday, not to go to get badges, if you get what I'm trying to say there. So I definitely should think this should be closer to home. Definitely think this should include most or a lot of the older Pokemon, and a mix. Maybe if you put it in between Sinnoh and Hoenn, have Sinnoh Pokemon and Hoenn Pokemon together. You know, I think they have a lot of possibilities to do if they bring it back to between the different places and bring back the old things. So a lot of people have actually mentioned a 5-region game. So basically, some people have mentioned that you put all the games together into one big game, and you can travel through all the regions and get all the badges. And my personal opinion on this is a good idea, you know, but I know Pokemon won't want to do that because they want to get maximum income, but at the same time it will bring a lot of income from people, because they'll have all the games in one, and in one respect it will stop people from buying the older games because they've got all in one. But in another respect, it will bring a lot of money in from getting a game with all the different regions, even if you bought all the older games. It's a nice little idea, but it will take a lot to make, I think. So I don't know quite how or why they would do it, because it would cost probably a little bit more, quite a lot more than all the previous games have done, which I don't think Pokemon wants to do. I think they were like sticking around the same price tag, around £30 in England, around 35 maximum in England. That's not sure what it is in euros or dollars, but I'm assuming it's around up to $40 or 40 euros. I'm not quite sure on that one, but I doubt that it really should go above that sort of, what do you call it, the sort of words have passed out my mind, but I doubt they should go above that price range. So they'd either have to cut a lot out of the games and out of the storylines, which I think so many people would hate, or they'd have to make the games cheaper, which another thing people would hate. So my kind of solution that I've thought of doing this is, since they won't need to make any new Pokemon, they're not going to need to make any new game and mechanics because they're using all the older regions. They're not going to need to make, really, they've got the black and white animations and things, which are really good and quite well done, I suppose, the graphics and stuff. So they could change them a little bit just to make the game individual, because that's what they do with each region. But they're not going to need to do a whole revamp of stuff. I think they can keep them much the same. And really, they're not going to need to think of a storyline or regions and layouts and things. So maybe it is possible, because they're not going to have to put all that other thing in it, all the things in it. All they have to worry about is programming all the different things into the one game. So I think it's possible. But my idea, I think they should do it for the 20-year anniversary, because that is coming up soon. Because Pokemon started in 1995/6. I think Pokemon originally came out in Japan in 1995 and the USA in 1996. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but I think that's how it worked, and that's kind of where it all started. So I think, so in 2015, 2016, maybe we might be able to see one of all the regions together games, maybe, because I think that would be a good thing for Pokemon to do. But yeah, in the next generation, forgetting about the whole region games, things that get like all regions in one game now, moving on to like a new region, I think they should definitely concentrate on the storyline and the gameplay. I know they concentrated a lot on the storyline in Pokemon Black and White, but in the gameplay there wasn't too much puzzle-wise, or I don't know, they didn't introduce new things like the water currents in Generation 3, they introduced them in. I think they should do more things like that in the new generation, because they have got, like I said before, good enough graphics. If they do it anymore, I think they'll ruin the Pokemon. And they've got enough Pokemon, really, they don't need to concentrate on Pokemon as much. So I think they definitely should concentrate on storyline and gameplay, and maybe introduce puzzles and things like the Regis in the third generation. I keep referring back to the third generation because I love the third generation. But yeah, the gameplay and stuff was very much changing in the third generation, so I think they should go back to that and have a look at what they did. There was quite a few new Pokemon in the third generation, but I feel like that was one of the best steps Pokemon took, because at that point there wasn't too many Pokemon. So Pokemon should definitely go back to that mindset though, of making puzzles, making it a little bit more challenging in a way, rather than more challenging out of battle, is what I'm trying to say. Not constantly, oh, can you battle all these trainers and still win? I think they should still keep that, because that is what Pokemon essentially is, but definitely introduce some other puzzles in there and not concentrate on making it look better and new Pokemon as much. So yeah, that's my ideas on the 6th generation. Tell me what you think below. So let's move on to the question of the week. So as I said before, I don't really want to ask you guys what you want me to talk about in the question of the week, but I will quickly now ask you, please do comment on what you want me to talk about. I will talk about whatever you want to, because I'm running dry on ideas. Obviously, I don't want to talk about something crazy, but yeah, just please comment a little bit below. But the question of the week, let's move on to that. What new kind of Pokemon would you like to see in the 6th generation, if there is one? So, for example, what would you like to see a new Pokemon with a new combination of types, or new pre-evolutions or new evolutions of Pokemon, or Pokemons based off certain animals, Because I know I said they really shouldn't bring in too many new Pokemon, but I think they definitely should bring at least a couple of new Pokemon. And a new evolution, a lot of people would like to see, and I don't know if it will be overkill, as well as the fact that it would be hard to animate them, because I know a Steel type evolution would be a bit strange, because that's not how Eevees tend to work. I don't know. I don't know if it would work or not. So I'm not really a huge supporter of the new evolutions, but it wouldn't be a bad thing. I quite like it. It would be a nice thing, because I love the evolutions. But I definitely don't want them to ruin them. But one Pokemon I definitely think should make an evolution is Mawile. Like I said before, definitely Mawile evolution. I love Mawile, and Mawile is so underrated. Definitely revamp, or not revamp, but just make an evolution, or revamp its movesets, or give it a good ability or something like that. That would be the best thing to do, I think. Type-wise, I think, probably, well, for the sake of staying with the style of Pokemon, I would say Ghost and Psychic, because I don't know why they haven't done that before. Because in the anime and in the game, they've linked Ghost and Psychic so much, and they're so similar. So I don't know why they haven't made a Pokemon with the type Ghost and Psychic, because it would really fit with Pokemon. But to be a little bit different, I would also say Psychic and Electric, because that is a little bit of a weird thing. But I do love those two types, and I think it would work well together in an odd way. So tell me what you think in the comments, and I want to say thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.